At the time of making this video, there's no direct way of using White Forest cards to get into the Azamina engine. That changes soon, and the new support looks absolutely custom card levels of insane, to be honest. Really excited to play with those, but that's a while away. So in the meantime, if we draw White Forest, how do we bridge into the Azamina engine whilst also playing around some of the more popular blowout hand traps? A lot of the comments I've seen on videos, not just mine, but videos in general, when you see these, what I like to call solitaire combos, the comments are along the lines of, well, this would never really work in a real game because it dies to X. How do you play around hand traps? How do you play around this? So in this instance, what we're going to look at is drawing White Forest toy box. How do we play around Nibiru and bridge into the Azamina engine? So the first thing we're going to do is normal summon a Stella, then we're going to activate a copy of Toy Box. Toy Box is going to get from the deck Toy Soldier, Toy Tank, set them both. Going to leave them face up. A Stella will send to the graveyard a copy of Toy Soldier, special summoning from the deck, Sylvie of the White Forest, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Toy Soldier, special summons itself from the grave, Sylvie of the White Forest is going to get for us Tales of the White Forest, add it to hand. Toy Soldier effect will get us a level 4 light. We're going to get Rusia. We're going to activate Tales of the White Forest rather than hold on to it, because we need a copy of LZ so we can extend once we've made ourselves safe from Nibiru. So we're going to synchro summon using a Stella and Sylvie, getting ourselves a copy of Immortal Dragon. Now, a nifty little tech option, if your locals are full of Tenpai players, my condolences if that's the case, I do hate that deck, use the effect of Immortal Dragon to send Necro World Banshee to the graveyard, build your board, then at the end of the turn, banish this from the graveyard, activating a copy of Zombie World directly from your deck. That'll make everything on the field into zombies, which is a nifty little tech option against Tenpai. We're not doing that just here though. So now that we've got Immortal Dragon, a level 6, well, it's a level 6, but more important than that, it's a dark tuner. So 6 plus 4 gets us a copy of Arms of Genix, return 0. Now, if you don't know what this card does, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish a card from your graveyard that's the same attribute, and it will negate and destroy the monster effect, but it's not once per turn. Each attribute is once per turn. So if they activate Nibiru, because this was summon 5, we just banish a light monster from the graveyard, negate and destroy. We'd still then be able to negate and destroy a dark monster. If we've ashed our opponent, then that's a light, a dark and a fire negate all in one turn. And in a format where Azamina, Fiendsmith, Snake Eye, Fire King are very popular deck choices, potentially having 3 negates in one turn is actually really strong, or potentially really strong. Sorry, Nibiru. So we can't be nibbed anymore. This in itself isn't a board though. So how do we extend? How do we build a board beyond this? And more importantly, how do we, after making ourselves safe from Nibiru, bridge into the Azamina engine, even though we didn't actually draw any of the Sinful Spoils or any of the Azamina cards? So LZ will special summon itself using its effect, sending Toy Tank to the graveyard. We're going to add a White Forest monster to our hand, which will be another copy of Estella. This is for the next turn. This is just for follow-up. Toy Tank will special summon itself from the graveyard using its effect. Rusia of the White Forest, using its own effect, special summon itself because there's a White Forest monster on the field. LZ and Rusia synchro summon, and we're going to get a copy of Rasilia. Now Rasilia's effect will send Toy Box to the graveyard, and we'll get a light spellcaster from our deck. You could get yourself a copy of, well, to be honest, there's quite a lot of tech options. Effect Veiler, maybe run 1 Effect Veiler in your deck, search the 1 copy using the combo. But the Iris Sword Soul is what we're grabbing in this instance, because this gives us extra gas for the combo. a spell was sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect. So now we're going to get a Stellar back to the field. We're going to go a Stellar plus Reselia to go into Diabell. And that's going to get us Toy Box, which will activate again because it's a soft once per turn. And we'll use that for Toy Soldiers, 2 Toy Soldiers from the deck, basically thinning them out of the deck so we're not drawing into them. We're going to activate the effect of Toy Tank, tributing itself to special summon a Stellar back from the graveyard. We're going to shuffle Reselia back into the extra deck to special summon Rusia. It can be Sylvie as well, it doesn't really matter which. What's important though is that this is now a monster on the field with negated effects, so we can special summon the Iris Sword Soul, which is here just for gas. So a Stellar plus Rusia equals Muddy Mud Dragon. We're going to link these 2 away, and that will be a copy of Silhouette Rowit. That's going to get us the Angel Statue, Azaru, which we'll set, leaving it face up so you can see. And now we're going to fuse these away using the effect of Muddy Mud Dragon, aka Fallen of Albaz. And that's going to get us a copy of Albion, the Branded Dragon. And this is how we're getting into our Azamina engine, because we're going to use its effect, Banishing from Grave, banishing 1 illusion monster, plus a light spellcaster monster. And that's going to get us a copy of Azamina Mu Resiliago, which hopefully I didn't butcher. But now, we opened with White Forest, we made ourselves immune to Nibiru, and we managed to extend into Azamina, despite there being no immediate and obvious bridging cards. Again, until Supreme Darkness, it's going to change a lot. But we don't have that yet, so we need to get creative. This is going to get us a copy of Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils, which will activate. Gets us the copy of the Witch. Send Toy Soldier to graveyard, special summoning the Witch. That's going to get us a copy of Deception of the Sinful Spoils set, which will activate, sending the Witch to the graveyard, which gets us a copy of the fusion spell Hallowed Azamina. We're going to send Deception of the Sinful Spoils to the graveyard, and that's going to get us a copy of Azamina Sylvia. So now we've got the Omni-Negate. We've still got 2 bodies left, and everybody knows one of the most broken things you can do in the game at the minute when you've got 2 bodies on the board is, of course, bridging into Mood of the Closed Heaven. Mood of the Closed Heaven, link off into Fiendsmith Requiem. Fiendsmith Requiem, tributing itself to special summon a Fiendsmith from the deck. Equip Fiendsmith Requiem to Fiendsmith Engraver. Necro-Equip Princess, special summoned, sending those to the graveyard. Fiendsmith Engraver, shuffling a Light Fiend to special summon itself. And then, of course, we overlay to summon a copy of High King Caesar. And then, just as a little bonus, we're going to shuffle back the Resiliago to get Hallowed Azamina back to hand. And we're also going to banish Wanted, putting Deception to the bottom of the deck to get a draw. And so as you can see, we've still got plenty of cards in hand. We've played around Nibiru. We've got a special summon negate for an inherent summon. We've got 2 special summon negates for effects. We've got an Omni negate. We've got a light and a dark negate. Depending on which other hand traps we might have used, we can also potentially have light, dark, fire, wind, etc. You know the drill. And even though we've played quite safe in making this board, because if we don't go down this route to play around Nibiru, and we do decide to play Solitaire, this deck can make, honestly, just outrageous boards. But we're not trying to play Solitaire, because we wanted to play around Nibiru, and I think, to be honest, playing in quite a safe way to make ourselves safe from Nibiru. To finish with this many disruptions, bear in mind Toy Box itself is a disruption because it can send to the grave when somebody tries to attack. And this deck as well, it can play comfortably about 15 non-engine, comfortably playing 15 non-engine. So you're still going to have plenty of other, whether it's hand traps, whether it's, you know, I do think Forbidden Droplet is mandatory. You've probably heard me say in previous videos with Toy Box, you've got to be playing the Droplet. But you could play this, you just get rid of the Droplets. You could play this deck with 15 hand traps comfortably. And if you don't need to play around Nibiru, then obviously just go full solitaire mode. But like I said at the start, I'm noticing people don't seem too interested in solitaire combos. What they want to know is, okay, great, but how does it play around Nibiru, Shifter, etc. Anyway, if you've got any ideas on your own, maybe there's a point in the video where if you pause it right there, you think, you could have done this instead and it would have been even better. Let me know. If you've been experimenting with White Forest and how we bridge into Azamina, maybe you've got some ideas of your own, let me know. In particular, we didn't set a branded spell or trap from our deck. I did have a look, I couldn't find anything that made sense to me. If there was an Albaz in the graveyard, we could have set branded in red. There wasn't though, so yeah, I kind of drew a blank. But maybe there's something I'm missing in terms of a branded spell or trap as a nice little tech option that can push this even further. Anyway, wanted this to be a quick video, so we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.